Hey there, welcome to LifeProof Relationships, a podcast brought to you by journeyOn Coaching. I'm Kylie.
And I'm Christy. We are a mother-daughter power team, both certified life coaches who have made coaching not just our careers, but our way of life. We have over 2,000 sessions and 2,600 hours of direct coaching experience between the two of us, and we've got quite a lot to share with you. Our clients come to us with all sorts of challenges and desires for change, but without fail, ultimately, they arrive at the core of everything, cultivating relationships.
So, if you're interested in exploring ways to transform your relationships, to be more loving, nourishing, and dynamic, please join us. Whether we're talking about partners, family, friends, or coworkers, we'll always ground back into the foundation of them all, your relationship with yourself.
So, what does LifeProof mean to us, Kylie?
Yeah, LifeProof Relationships, it's a bold statement. In this episode, we really aim to help you understand the big picture of what LifeProof means. So before we go into the details or the components of a LifeProof relationship, let me first give you a visualization or an analogy. I'm going to relate relationships to the ocean. There's a lot going on. Ups, downs, sideways, different sizes of waves, waves going in different directions. Now imagine the current beneath those waves. The tide does its own thing regardless of what's happening on the surface. The depth and power and consistency of the current and the tide is actually what's most important to pay attention to. But when we think about the ocean, we tend to get distracted by the waves and the chaos on top, forgetting what's underneath. We do the same in our relationships. By giving appropriate attention to the chaos on top, sure, it's necessary. But far more attention is needed to be given to the depth and power below. And when we do that, we can actually begin to harness and commune with the infiniteness of our love.
Oh, I like that. Commune with the infiniteness of our love.
Thanks.
So built directly from our experience as coaches and sculpting our own relationships with this perspective of this ocean metaphor, we've created a framework of what will help us give attention to and resources to what's most important in our relationships. And that's this LifeProof framework.
Yeah, exactly. Based on our experience, we have come up with some thoughts of what really helps us stay connected to the bigger picture and not get so distracted. So the high-level framework that we'll share with you in this podcast is there's 5 pillars of a LifeProof relationship. 1, choose love.
2, connect to the vision.
3, expand your awareness.
4, nourish.
And 5, opt in.
Yeah. So choose love, connect to the vision, expand your awareness, nourish, and opt in. So let me give you an example of this. Your dad and I have been married for 28 years. It's a long time. We've known each other for 30 or so. And, in reflection, looking back along this life journey here with him, there was a pivotal moment or time frame when we decided that we were going to create a vision for our family. And in a way, this was the beginning of how your dad and I established this metaphor of life-proofness in our relationship. So we were on a car ride, driving back from Truckee, California, from a ski weekend. We had a 5-hour drive ahead of us to drive back to Lemoore, and I was pregnant with you. And I had just been to this team skills and facilitation trainer course in Seattle for my job in the Navy. And I said, hey, let's try this. Let's try this out. I mean, it's one thing to do this at work, but what if we, established a vision for ourselves and we actually really looked at what do we value? What do we value individually? What do we value as a couple? what do we value with this burgeoning family? We had one daughter and Kylie on the way. And so we spent this car ride actually brainstorming our values first. And it was just an incredible conversation. I mean, we kind of knew what one another valued from our dating period, but to really be so intentional with it was just really a gift to our relationship, especially early on. We hadn't even been married a year yet. So we took hours to discuss this and hone in, there's a refinement process, but to hone in on the values that we actually both agreed upon. And then we just spent a little bit of time ranking them. It was actually quite easy to rank them because we thought that would help us prioritize goals and actions going forward. And then we were getting a little tired, but we got into goals and we thought, can we create a goal that's actually measurable and achievable with each of these values? And there were a couple that were a little nebulous. We had values like be honest to ourselves and all others. And that's binary. You either are or you aren't. Or you aren't. So, we didn't need to have a goal for that one. And we had round 2 of this and continued doing our goals. But we considered goals both at an individual level of growth as well as our couple level of growth. Because for each goal, we were like, how does this really reflect on this value? Without even, of course, not naming it in the time because it was 26 years ago, 27. We were really connecting to creating and then connecting to that vision for our family. And we were truly expanding our awareness in the moment as a couple, really getting to learn even more about each other and what our hopes and dreams are or were for our family. And as we were going through this, we were incrementally like opting in without even saying it. So we truly chose in that moment love, honesty, and respect as foundations for our relationship. And this became our way, after we finished this document, it became our way of nourishing each other as a couple and aligning ourselves and our actions to these values as we interacted as a couple, as we dealt with ourselves, and as we expanded our family. Every year, we would actually reflect on that document and make changes and adjustments. And there was a period of time where we didn't have to make any, probably for a whole decade or so. But that reflection practice and adjusting, really helped us live and love and learn and experience life together in what I would consider to be a life-proof way, because we've had tons of things riding the waves in our lives.
Okay, so in that example, choose love. I heard you say how you were connecting to a vision, how you were expanding your awareness, because when you expand your awareness, you're really like looking to see and hear what really matters to yourself and each other. Going into your values together is a really dedicated practice of expanding your awareness of the other person. And then you said by creating goals and holding each other accountable to reflection and achieving those goals or moving towards them is a way that you both wanted to be nourished by each other. Another word for nourishment here might be support. And then opting in, right? You guys, opting in is like really empowering yourself to get connected with the journey. Here's what life is giving me right now. I'm here for it. And you guys really put your front foot forward and opted in to being empowered in your relationship together.
Yeah. And there were times where we really felt like we were being thrown around by the waves and getting crunched in the surf zone. And so going back to that vision and to being open to expanding our awareness in the midst of crashing waves, we did have to choose love. So love to me was what you were describing in your metaphor of what's underneath the surface, the tide and the current. Love is, man, without love, we would have crashed and burned many times. But with it and focusing on it and choosing it and believing that we could do anything together as long as we were connected in love and operating from a place of what we valued most. Yeah, we were able to weather the storms and still are.
Yeah, you guys still are. Okay. Thank you, by the way, for values.
You're welcome.
When I was the size of a nugget in your belly.
You're a little bigger than that. You're probably like a grapefruit at the time.
Oh, okay.
Hey there. I wanted to take a minute to tell you how you can get LifeProof coaching from us. It's super simple. Just go to our website, journeyOn-coaching.com, and sign up for a free introductory session with either Christy or myself, Kiley. This is our passion and it's our way of life. So if you're feeling called to reach out, don't hesitate. We look forward to speaking with you and getting to know you.
So what about you? Is LifeProof showing up for you, Kiley?
So I'll give you, again, we're keeping things a little high level in this episode, but let's say for an example, I'm going to give you an example of how you can use this perspective towards others and also how you can use it towards yourself. So let's imagine someone you care about just drops a huge piece of news on you, which is exactly what just happened to me yesterday. No, the day before, between me and my primary partner. And we really, in that moment, intentionally and explicitly practiced this perspective together. So here's the perspective. So if you, starting at the beginning, choose love. Choose love over the thing. Prioritize the relationship more than the thing, more than whatever they just told you. How can I respond in a way that makes myself and the other person feel respected, valued, honored? So practicing this cultivates deep trust over time because you're demonstrating that how you treat each other is more important than what you're talking about, even when they just told you something that's really hard to hear.
Yeah, that's really hard to do in the moment.
It's really hard to do in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she and I have practiced many years of this. And she knew she was telling me something huge and prefaced it like, Kiley, let's be kind to each other. How do we want to be together in this conversation? Because I know that this is hard for you to hear. And kindness, compassion, patience, gentleness were the words that we chose in that moment of how we wanted to treat each other, regardless of whatever she was telling me. So connect with your vision. That's number 2. Remember the vision for this relationship. And maybe you have already articulated it, and maybe you haven't. It's probably a good time to do it soon. Mm-hmm. And in this example with me and my partner, we actually brought this into the discussion. Okay, what is our vision? We've had a vision together, and let's relook at it. Let's take another look at it. What do we want to add? What do we want to change? And we were real time, like putting things on the vision document that we have.
Like real time when she,
in that conversation.
The one where she brought the
big piece of news.
Yeah? Okay. Because sometimes it takes it might take a day or two.
Yeah.
To be able to have the spaciousness to connect to that vision. Yeah. Great job. Okay. And then what?
So then how can I respond in a way that honors that vision? If curiosity and honesty are part of our vision, how can I respond in a way that honors that? How can I be curious right now? How can I be curious about how this is going to affect us going forward? How can I be curious about how this is affecting me right now? And so on to number 3, expand your awareness and seek understanding. Listen beneath the surface layer words. See the parts of them that really matter, the parts of them that they really want you to see right now. There might be a lot of other shit in the way. Anger, fear, confusion, uncertainty. But look underneath all those layers and look for what really matters in them. Look for the love that they have for you. I really listened hard for that when she was telling me all this.
Yeah, I mean, that's next level listening, and there's such a difference between listening such that you can actually feel them. You see them, you feel them, and you hear them. The words don't match all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like full body listening.
Yeah.
All senses in.
Yeah, it's choosing not to get triggered. I could have freaked the fuck out on that call.
Yeah.
And I did later with myself, by myself, but not freaking out in the conversation actually goes back to the very first pillar where you're dedicated to treating each other the way you want to treat each other in that moment, rather than going off on a tangent of freaking out.
Yeah, response.
Reaction.
Yeah.
Response is intentional. Reaction is like a reflex. Okay, moving on. Nourish. What kind of nourishment does she need? What kind of nourishment do I need? What if what we need is incompatible? How can we actually try and make a compromise and meet each other and be there for each other in the way that we need to be, rather than projecting what I need onto her? Really asking, what kind of support, how can I support you? And her asking me of that as well. How can she support me while, especially when things are counterintuitive, like one of us needs a lot of space and the other needs presence and communication and reflection. Like those can seem like you can't have them both at the same time.
Yeah, mutually exclusive.
Yeah, they seem mutually exclusive. And so really trying to get creative about how you can really give each other what you both need in a way that honors you both.
And draw from and draw in other resources, because, couples sometimes think, or partners think, that they have to be the sole provider of support, and that's not true.
Exactly. Yeah. How else can you receive what you need?
Mm-hmm.
Especially, how can you give it to yourself? Right? That's something that she and I ask each other constantly. Okay, I'm hearing that you need this. Here's how I can help. Here's where I can meet you in this. How can you meet yourself in this as well?
So where in that conversation do you recall embracing the fifth pillar of opting in?
Stepping into the experience of being alive in the moment. Just really trying to accept my experience without putting judgment on it. Gosh, my heart was it felt like it was stiffening. My stomach was turning into knots. I felt nauseous. I had this like weight and heaviness on the front part of my body, dizzy. And so bringing presence and awareness to that part of my experience without the story, right? This is like my physical experience is its own thing. It influences the story. It influences my experience, the narrative that I place on top of what do all these feelings mean. But they're not this exact same thing. So being present with my physical sensations without judging them for a period of time was really, really important, to let them pass through my body.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm ignoring them. I remember them very well, and I've been reflecting on them. So that's one way I opted in.
Yeah, you opted into the present moment. I mean,
Yeah.
that is mindfulness. Being present with what was happening physiologically, biologically inside of you.
Yeah.
And allowing it to be there, not pushing it away. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's this perspective that this moment, like all moments, is a gift to my soul on its journey of being alive.
Yeah.
This is part of it, and I have got to be present for it, otherwise I'll miss it.
Right.
And the other layer of opting in is, okay, this is a really challenging thing that she just told me. And I'm leaning into it. We're on a path of life partnership together, and that she, huge wave, just huge wave. But opting in is like looking at the bigger picture and looking at this like an opportunity and an adventure. And I'm very familiar with adventures.
Yes, you are.
They can be very scary sometimes, and confronting that fear and being present with it and turning towards it rather than away from it just gets you so much more juice out of life. Because the objective isn't to just protect ourselves from pain.
Yeah.
That's
we
not
have
the
a
goal.
whole smorgasbord of emotions and feelings and sensations that we opt into in the moment.
Yeah.
Especially when a huge crushing wave comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Thich Nhat Hanh has the phrase of, and this too. Okay. I'm on a trajectory of life partnership with this person. And this too. This is part of our story. How I respond right now is so important. And bringing intentionality into choosing love, connecting with our vision, expanding our awareness, nourishing each other, and nourishing ourselves. Like, this is how we have connected to the depths and power and the infiniteness of our love together, despite the shitstorm that might be going up on top of the surface.
Yeah. That's a wonderful example. And it's really great that these pillars are a framework for both reflection. You can look back at another event in your life and not having this tool at the time, try to apply it, this framework, and reflect upon it and see, golly, where could I have, if I'd had this framework, where would it have made a potential difference from a learning perspective? And then there's the practicing in real time, which you just described. So I have another, I'll make this short, but being courageous in practicing this is really important. And I have an example that I can look back upon, way back upon, where it was a moment where I was experiencing something really significant, and it was somewhat traumatic. I was trying to decide whether or not to stay with my husband at the time, and that's not my current husband. So you can already guess what my answer was, but the pillars apply because in the liminal space of the decision that I was making of whether or not to file for divorce, I really chose to love myself, because I realized it was one of those rock bottom moments of realizing, man, if I don't choose myself in this moment, I'm going to lose myself. I'm going to become somebody else that I won't even recognize. And I don't want to do that. So I chose love in that moment, and I connected with the vision that I had for my very young, she was like 14-month-old daughter. And the vision that I had for her life, I knew that I could give her a better life than the life that it could have been with my ex-husband. And so that fueled me. That fueled me to opt in to and make a commitment to honestly filing for divorce and stepping into the fear of it and the unknown. And in that process of going forward with the divorce, I found that it actually nourished me. Each step I took was another form of choosing love for myself, for my daughter. And it really did. I mean, there's not really even a better word than nourishment. It felt good to progress in a really challenging moment. So, expanding awareness, absolutely. Each step I took gave even more confidence, expanded my awareness of who am I, who do I want to be, and what am I choosing for my life with my daughter. And regardless of what other waves were going to come, I knew that I could withstand it if I chose love in the moment, love for myself, love for my daughter, and moved on. So
did showing love to yourself, is that like kindness towards yourself, like choosing the way that you were speaking towards yourself? Can you give me an example of how you chose love for yourself?
I think it was back to the part that we talked about of deep listening. I really had to listen to myself and hear my voice, hear my truth, hear that voice that was really trying to preserve who I was at my core. That was saying, hey, listen, I'm here. Let's go forward together. And so it was the listening. And I certainly had all kinds of body sensations in that moment that I decided to go forward and file for divorce. And then there were other ways of going through marriage therapy and offered for him to come and join me. And he chose not to, but I continued. So specific actions of doing things that were continuing to help me pull out of the depths of despair and into the richness of life. And it was that gift to my soul of being alive in the moment and heading into the unknown of being a single parent while I was in active duty military and having to go to whatever duty station was going to be next. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that level of really expanding awareness in partnership and with yourself is something that takes so much practice. Like, it was really important for me to make sure that I was seen by her, given the decision that she was making.
Yeah. And when you're in a relationship where you are not seen, which is where I was,
yeah,
then I had to see myself.
Exactly. It's all the same. Like, we have to treat ourselves the way we want to be treated, fundamentally. Alrighty. We just gave some juicy examples of mom and my dad with choosing the vision for their family, me in the storm on the surface of my relationship, that really together connecting down into the depths and remaining connected to the infiniteness of us.
Yeah, and me connecting down into my depths.
Exactly.
Below the surface of the storm.
Exactly.
To emerge.
Yeah.
Opting into.
Yeah, thanks for leaving him and finding dad.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so key points. These pillars, we'll recap them here. Choose love. Connect to the vision. Expand your awareness. Nourish. And opt in will help you keep connected to the depth, power, and infiniteness of the love that you share with yourself and others. Be courageous. This is not easy. We live in a society that encourages us and celebrates, puts on pedestals all the drama of being reactive to the surface.
Yeah, the waves.
The waves. Yeah.
The shark fins in the waves. Yeah.
So practicing this perspective with yourself is just as important as practicing it with the people that you're in relationship with.
Yeah. And it's totally okay to bring in tools like vision casting and establishing values and creating goals to help you experience these pillars in your life.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any stories, thoughts, or questions about relationships that you'd like to share with us, feel free to send us an email. Our email is info@journeyOn-coaching.com. That's info@journeyOn-coaching.com. Follow us on Instagram and send us a DM. Our Instagram handle is @journeyOn-coaching. To explore LifeProof coaching with us, head to our website and sign up for a complimentary coaching session. Our website is journeyOn-coaching.com. If you love the show and want to hear more, subscribe and download the show on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, blessings as you journey on.